What are the most pressing issues Africa faces today? This question is more than just a conversation starter. It's a call to awareness, a spotlight on the urgent dilemmas that this diverse, vibrant continent is grappling with. From the bustling markets of Lagos to the serene landscapes of the Serengeti, the story of Africa is one marked by resilience but also by challenges. Challenges that demand attention, understanding, and action. Join us as we delve into the top 10 critical issues plaguing this diverse and vibrant continent. Starting from the very roots, poverty stands as the biggest challenge Africa contends with. It's a complex issue that has woven itself into the fabric of society, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to break. Millions upon millions across the continent find themselves ensnared in this trap, unable to escape the relentless clutches of impoverishment. This cycle of poverty isn't just about a lack of money. It's about a lack of resources, a lack of opportunities, and ultimately, a lack of hope. It's a cycle that fuels other problems too. Hunger, social unrest, inadequate education, poor health, all these issues are children of poverty. It's a domino effect where one problem gives rise to another and another. Poverty deprives people of their potential, their dreams, their very capacity to live a full, fulfilling life. It's a cruel taskmaster that takes more than it gives. Poverty thus sets the stage for a multitude of other pressing issues. Healthcare, or the lack thereof, is a nightmare many African citizens grapple with daily. Imagine living in a world where a simple illness can become a death sentence, not because it's incurable, but because there's no access to the right treatment. In many parts of Africa, this is a grim reality. Healthcare facilities are often scarce and understaffed, and essential medicines are frequently out of reach for those who need them most. This scarcity of healthcare resources is compounded by the high costs associated with treatment. For many, the price tag of a hospital stay or prescription medication is simply unaffordable. This leads to an alarming number of preventable deaths and contributes to a lower life expectancy across the continent. The situation is further complicated by the prevalence of diseases such as malaria, HIV/AIDS, and tuberculosis, which require ongoing medical attention and resources. The dire state of healthcare is undoubtedly one of Africa's most significant hurdles. Education, the cornerstone of any nation's progress, remains a distant dream for many in Africa. Quality education is more than just a fundamental right. It's a game changer, a ladder out of poverty, a catalyst for innovation and prosperity. Yet, many in Africa, especially those in remote or impoverished regions, are denied this vital opportunity. The reasons are multifaceted, ranging from inadequate resources and infrastructure to a lack of qualified teachers and outdated curriculums. Without quality education, children grow up without the necessary skills to compete in a global economy, leading to a lifetime of missed opportunities. In a broader perspective, it hampers national development, exacerbating social inequality and hindering economic growth. And let's not forget, an uneducated population is more susceptible to manipulation, fostering environments ripe for conflict and instability. In essence, the lack of education is not just a personal tragedy, but a societal one. Education, or the lack thereof, thus continues to perpetuate the cycle of poverty. Political instability and corruption, the twin evils, have long crippled Africa's growth. These insidious forces have often intertwined, creating a vicious cycle that hinders development and progress. Political instability, characterized by frequent regime changes and conflicts, fosters an environment where corruption thrives. In such a setting, public funds are often misused for personal gains rather than for the welfare of the people. This has resulted in inadequate public services, including healthcare and education, further exacerbating Africa's challenges. Meanwhile, corruption undermines trust in government, leading to social unrest and ultimately more political instability. It's a grim scenario where one problem feeds the other, making it difficult to break the cycle and achieve sustainable growth. Efforts to combat these issues are often met with resistance and are slow to show results. But change is not impossible. With strong institutions, transparency, and an engaged citizenry, Africa can overcome these hurdles. Political corruption and instability thus remain major roadblocks in Africa's path to prosperity. Conflict and violence, often the offshoots of political instability, have left deep scars on Africa. This scourge is not a visitor that comes and goes, but a resident evil that has made a home in the heart of the continent, affecting its pulse and rhythm. The impact of ongoing conflicts and violence on the African population is profound and far-reaching. Lives have been lost, families torn apart, and communities shattered. The development of the continent, its people, and its potential is crippled by these ceaseless struggles. The future of Africa's next generation hangs in the balance, as violence and conflict rob them of their chances at education, healthcare, and a prosperous life. Moreover, the economic growth of Africa is stunted by these conflicts. Investments shrink, infrastructure crumbles, and industries falter under the weight of violence. Conflict and violence, thus, continue to bleed Africa of its potential. Until this wound is healed, the continent's progress will remain a struggle against the tide. Climate change, the silent killer, is wreaking havoc on Africa's environment and livelihoods. This invisible enemy is striking at the heart of the continent, challenging its very pulse: agriculture. As rainfall patterns become increasingly unpredictable, the once bountiful lands are now plagued by either severe droughts or damaging floods. The result? A drastic decline in crop yields, threatening the food security of millions. But the assault doesn't stop there. Africa's rich wildlife, a symbol of its heart and soul, is also under siege. Warmer temperatures and shifting climates are disturbing the delicate balance of ecosystems, pushing many species towards the brink of extinction. Beyond agriculture and wildlife, climate change threatens the overall sustainability of Africa, impacting water resources, human health, and even sparking social conflicts over dwindling resources. It's a silent, relentless force, undermining the continent's ability to thrive and prosper. Climate change, thus, poses a grave threat to Africa's future. These issues, although daunting, are not insurmountable. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. We began with poverty, the root of so many problems. It's a vicious cycle that feeds into and is fed by the other issues we've spoken about. Then we dipped our toes into the healthcare challenges that Africa faces, from insufficient facilities to the lack of trained medical professionals. We moved on to the topic of education, a key to success that remains elusive for many. Lack of access to quality education is a hurdle that hinders the potential of Africa's youth. Next, we explored the political instability and corruption that, unfortunately, plague this vibrant continent, creating an environment of uncertainty and hampering progress. We then touched on the scourge of conflict and violence, a grim reality that continues to disrupt lives and impede development. Lastly, we shed light on climate change, a silent yet deadly force that's exacerbating existing challenges and posing new ones. These issues are deeply interconnected, each one influencing and influenced by the others. They demand comprehensive, multifaceted solutions that tackle the root causes, not just the symptoms. Let's remember that these are not just African problems, but global ones. They affect us all, directly or indirectly. It is upon us, as global citizens, to understand, engage, and contribute towards a better future for Africa.